if we're asking a question now about conceptions of nature, and this is obviously relevant to a distinction between natural and supernatural, and our understanding of a miracle as something that is to do with the supernatural realm, it goes beyond the natural. But in order to unpack that, we really need to understand that, again, while we think about this distinction between natural and supernatural as a long-standing idea that's self-evident, in fact it's an idea that has a history, and it's a distinction that emerges in the Middle Ages and really firms up in the 17th century when we get a scientific conception of laws of nature. So, for example, if we go back to the Greeks before Plato and Aristotle, their conception of nature is one that includes the gods. It includes everything that is the case, as it were. And as I say, it's only really in the 17th century, it's only really in the Middle Ages that we see a terminological distinction that sets the natural apart from the supernatural. Before that, we have the idea that the natural is contrasted with what's artificial, or the natural is contrasted with human conventions, or formally in Aristotle's philosophy, natural movement is contrasted with violent movement, where human beings interfere with the course of nature in particular kinds of ways. So the idea that we can have natural as opposed to supernatural is an idea that emerges in Western thought. We see the terminology beginning with Thomas Aquinas in the 13th century, and by the time we get to the 17th century, we have an idea that there is an independent natural order that's described by laws of nature, and that's quite different from the supernatural realm. But again, it's very important to understand that in both the Middle Ages and the 17th century, the natural order did not exclude divine activity. And that's the most important thing to get here, that when nature runs, it's always running, as it were, with divine action involved. It's just that in the supernatural realm, that is a realm that excludes natural causes.